With The Chaldeans. I'm Anthony Toma, your host. Junior Binno should be landing at any time in sunny Miami. He's still there. The guy doesn't want to come back. I don't know why. Maybe it's all the freedom you have in Florida compared to what you have in Michigan here. We're here with Kevin Kuza, Henry Electric, proud owner, proud founder, proud everything to do with Henry Electric. What's going on?
How you doing?
Doing
good to see you. I mean, this is my second time on here.
Yes, sir.
So I think the last time, obviously, we were talking about Box, which is still currently the company that makes money. But yeah, Henry Electric. I mean, I had no intention of launching another company. Actually, after I did my thing here, things were, things kind of. I was thinking about it on the way here. I'm like, man, did this show have anything to do with us picking up? Well, because we were focusing on this green box thing where we were going to kind of go after the provision centers and whatnot, and that really picked up for us. So
nice.
that's 80% of our business right now.
Really?
And it's been great. So I'm thank you guys. I'm sure this show had something
on the Salon 6 side.
Well, I mean, we're still doing whatever comes our way, but that is really what's going up the most right now, and we've done some awesome ones. We've got some amazing clients that are, really big, almost corporate type setups, and
just to touch on it a little more, and
provision
we want to
centers,
focus on
dispensaries,
Henry.
right?
Well, dispensaries, and because of your fine eye and your fine furniture, the design, like that's what helps a provisional center really blow up. Like that's what's going to keep people coming back, and if they found you from this show, then God bless.
Absolutely. And I think I'm learning, yes, that's important, but right, it's the whole package. I mean,
absolutely. We
always, our approach is, right away to the clients or potential client is like, how are you going to operate? And yeah, you got this beautiful space, but how's it going to function? And so it's been a lot of fun, and that's been keeping us busy along with, our hotels and restaurants and.
Sure.
After 18 years, I think, going on 18 years,
wow.
things have kind of, they're doing their thing, and I have some awesome people still, and they're just like the COVID thing. We had some ups and downs, but I think we're going to be better as we move forward. So that brings me to Henry Electric. I was sitting in my garage. That's where I was working during the pandemic when they did the shutdowns. Really, our designers, it was pretty simple. Like they took their computers, our computers from their office, and then they went home and they were working there. I was able to hook up a little system where I was able to track what was going on, just to keep them honest and myself honest, and not have to worry about that stuff. And then our shop guys decided to, I gave them the option. I mean, they were scared. Everybody was a little freaked out
early on.
And I'm like, hey guys, we don't have to let anybody in here. And there was only actually 2 at that point who wanted to work, but there were, my main 2 guys, and they stuck it out, and they were there every single day. And then we went through that thing where, I'm sitting at home, and I was going stir crazy. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing here? I mean,
especially a creative mind like yours.
Dude, I was taking drives at night. Just at night, because it was so peaceful. There was nobody on the road.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, is this legal? Am I going to get pulled over?
It was crazy.
I mean, nobody on the road, at 9 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
So, I basically came up with the notion that I needed to get out and maybe, just, I don't know, really, I had been wanting to get some type of hip electric bike.
Yeah.
And so I started the research, and I was coming, I've been really drawn to, with I guess architecture. It's really the mid-century era, and now with my bikes, it's really the early 1900s, right? The board and tracks, the old Indian Harley motorcycles. I mean, where you got to set them up on the kickstand, spin the back wheel to start the motor, or the engine. Oh yeah, that's how they used to rev those up. There was no electric start then, or even kickstart. So I did some research, and I found this company called Ray Volt. And I'm not crazy about the name, but they're awesome. And I met the owner, Josh. I'll get to that in a second. So I find this bike, and I had a few to choose from, and honestly, they had this cruiser bike, which you saw
Yeah.
at a gas station parked, up the street from us here.
Yeah.
And you're like, did you build that? And I mean, I almost was going to lie to you and be like, yes, but I hesitated.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, but I am going to be, I think I had mentioned you, like, I plan on, building some or whatever
Right.
it was.
Yeah,
So,
you did.
as I was riding that thing, people were just like, hey, where did you get that from? Hey, did you make that? Hey. And, eventually, really, that wasn't what pushed me. What pushed me is it was too slow. So it went like 30 miles per hour. Great bike. We actually carried their line, and I'll get to that. But
Yep.
great bike. Went home and got online and just started researching and was like, okay, you could buy kits, you could buy frames, you can, to design a bike from scratch, there's it's like building a chair.
Mm-hmm.
At Box, we don't do a lot of chairs because there's like the ergonomics of it. There's a lot of conceptual. Somebody's got to be comfortable. You don't want it to weigh 2,000 pounds when it
Right.
doesn't have to. So, we decided that, or I decided that, I would, attempt building a bike. So, really laid in bed every night and was like, okay, I got to come up with a name, and just did some research. And I guess, I hit the name Henry to see what would pop up, and that's my son's name. And I saw that Henry Ford actually designed an electric bike. Oh gosh, man, this was way back in
Yeah.
the day. So it was honestly during like when the first cars were coming out, the first
There was
line of
actually
cars.
an electric car. There was an electric car before there was a combustible car.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it popped up, Henry Ford, and then there was like an electric in an article. The name Henry was there, and I just was like Henry
That's very
Electric,
cool.
and it's my son's name,
Yeah.
and I wanted it to be something after Henry, and I knew that it would just motivate the shit out of me. Like every time I heard or said the name, like
Yeah.
I think about him instantly. So I set up the domain. I kind of build this quick site, add it to the Box site, and start emailing clients. And I'm like, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you guys think? And they're like, yeah, I mean, it sounds great, And I'm like, well, we want to do corporate bikes for you guys, and like kind of like the American Chopper. I don't know if you watch this. So,
for sure.
I started like just trying to find any way to get my foot in the door. Things kind of settled a little bit. I had built a couple bikes, and really spent the summer just really building test bikes and riding. And
I used to see you all the time. Different bike, different routine.
And there was one time. It was the first bike I built. I did not know how fast this thing would go, so I had set it up with a very powerful 72 volt battery, but it was a 48 volt controller setup, so it was only like a 30 amp controller. So the battery was a little too heavy.
Does that govern it down?
Well, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. I just know I wanted speed, so I had put a hub, which is our motor, on the front and the rear.
Okay.
So it was an all-wheel drive bike, and I get on this thing, and I'm on Lone Pine Road, and I gun it, and it goes 65 miles per hour like that. And I'm like, I got one brake on there. I've never built a bike in my life. And Lone Pine's downhill, uphill. I'm like, holy crap, this is nuts. So that night,
The battery's heavy as shit, so going downhill.
I mean, it was just too fast, right?
Yeah.
Like the setup wasn't ideal, and we ended up having some fails. But that night, it was like 95 degrees out. I ended up going out at midnight, and I'm riding, and I'm like 2 miles away from the house, and the bike conks out of me, and I didn't have my phone on me.
What caused it?
It's a battery.
Battery died?
Over the course of the day. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I ended up walking home. By the time I got home, I was like in a pair of freaking underwear.
Yeah, right. Sweating bullets.
Yeah, I got home. I go, Louisa, honey, did you not think? It's 2 a.m. Like, where's Kevin?
Yeah.
I mean, like, seriously.
Go find this guy. She's
She's like, no, I just thought you were riding. I'm like, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So, there's. I mean, God bless my wife. I mean, she is. I think what got me to really push the gas on this thing, or the throttle,
Yeah,
right?
throttle, yeah.
Would be that. I was walking in my backyard. My father, Ramel, was at the house, and he
OG.
he was a little confused on what the hell I was doing. He'd come over because I had turned my garage into a bike shop.
Yeah.
And for me, it was great because when I started Box, I had started in the garage, started in the basement. And honestly, like, we've grown, and I've gotten away from all the fabricating, and I miss it. And so it was a way for me to connect with everything I was doing.
Right.
You're a better designer when you're building and you're engaged,
Sure.
It's just the way it works. I mean, yeah, you could flip through magazines and Pinterest all day long, but when you're in it, what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Through failure and success, that's,
And
that whole process.
Walking 2 miles.
Yeah, see, I'm walking 2 miles. So my dad's like, he had to challenge me, and he's like, you could do this as a hobby, but you need to. Once he said that, I mean, it was on. So
what did he say? What was his?
His words were like, you focus on your other company. This could just be a hobby.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, no, dude. So I tell him to this day, it's your fault that I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And so then, it kind of just really things. I was started to go in motion from there. After the first summer, I was like, okay, let's get a brand. I reached out to my buddy Dave Zimmerman, I went to college with. He owns the Family Vibe. He's a production branding company. Seriously, I think one of the best that I've seen.
Yeah.
So Dave would love the concept, love the idea. We've known each other for 20 years now almost, and he came up with the logo. We went through a whole bunch of designs, and I love it. I think it came out phenomenal. It's just I wanted something that resembled the movement of our frames, and that's kind of where the H comes into play, and it kind of takes into effect the frames. So that happened, and then I started to work on the site, and a lot of back and forth, and things just moved really quick. I had no intention of actually opening up a location.
Storefront.
Yeah, and I knew during the pandemic, I mean, seriously, like, first off, I started a new company, probably not too many people were doing that. But I knew the EV market was hot. Like, I did the research, and I just knew it was hot. So
it really is. It's blowing up now.
But it's only like at like 2 or 3%. Like, it's just beginning. Like, so we're definitely pioneers in this business, market. And that's okay, because when I started Box, it was like, you have to do this to make money. In the beginning, I didn't care. I'd build a desk, sell it, and go out and party. I didn't. Right? My wife, Louisa would pay. I mean, literally, I lived with her. She would take care of the bills. Like, I was very spoiled. Still am. But when we had Henry, that's when I had to get serious and actually was like, shit, I got to make a living. But so Box never really went the way I wanted it to go in terms of my vision of my company when I first launched it.
Yeah.
Now I love it to death, but it was, and maybe one day we'll switch gears, but now it's kind of its own beast. It's doing its thing. And Henry Electric is very interesting in a way that it's like I don't need to take money from it. And so the whole approach has been different.
Yeah.
It's like we are taking the steps to build the brand and the company the way, well, at least myself and the people surrounding me think, it should go. Vision. And it could take, a year, it could take 5, could take whatever it is, but that has been awesome. So, yeah, I mean, we're in a store in Birmingham. I meet this. I was at one of my suppliers down the street, Glen Wing, and I was like, yeah, I saw a building for lease. Let me go walk over there.
Yeah.
You know anything about it? Talking to the owner, Jeff, and he's like, yeah, I think somebody just bought that building. So we're right next to the Wild Sides.
Yeah.
We're in that plaza. But Chris Bahora's dad just opened up a Tel Casa there.
Yeah, he was on the show.
Yeah, he's got the horse.
Yeah.
Henry's upset about the horse with the lamp on its head. He thinks it's a real thing. I'm like, no. It's a fake horse.
What is it like animal abuse?
No, that's what Henry says.
Oh, no shit.
Anyway.
We were there.
Yeah.
And
at
Tel Casa.
Okay.
So we're doing some B-roll there, and driving by, and I see this sign, the side of a building that says "Art That Moves."
Yeah.
And I look over, and I was like, "Shit, that's Kev's place, man. That's Henry Electric."
I wasn't there.
No, you weren't there.
No. So yeah, we end up. I negotiated a lease. The realtor worked for both myself and the owner, which is not always the best thing, but in this case, he was a hockey player. We hit it off, and I knew what I wanted, and the big thing for me was, hey, don't dump everything into this space. You're not going to get a ton of retail business, but for both my companies, being in this area, it was important to me. Because that the interior represents what Box does,
sure.
And the stuff that's in there represents what Henry Electric does, and most of my clients are out this way. So it was a good fit, closer to home, and I needed a break from the everyday shop. To be honest with you, like being in the wood shop since I was 22 years old. I'm 45 now. It's like the store, right? Like you need a break.
Yeah.
So
the punch of the Chaldean typewriter.
Yeah, exactly. You still hear that in your head.
Chaldean piano.
I mean, I still don't think anybody ever added or does add on those calculators, right? They just make noise.
Yeah.
So we got the store. We were able to. We had some, some pushback from the city on some stuff, which was kind of wild, considering nobody was opening up anything at the time. And,
Right.
We ended up getting her open, and today, our focus right now, again, really is not as crazy as it sounds. It's not pushing as many bikes as we can.
Yeah.
I've had opportunity to buy containers from, China, which 98% of the bikes in the industry come from China.
Yeah.
There's no accountability. You buy a $7,000 bike and there's nowhere to service it. There's no one. So there's a lot of good things happening. Unfortunately, bad for the customers, but good in the sense where a company like mine can break through and stand apart from everybody else.
Right.
And so I really was just like, I'm not even gonna plan or have any like hey Kev, like let's do this, let's do that, and to get here it was like let's just keep building bikes.
Right.
So I just kept designing and building these one-off bikes, and
where are you getting these parts?
I get them from all over, man.
Yeah.
So a couple steps back, I was feeling a little alone when I started Henry Electric, meaning I'm new in the business, and I wanted to make some connections. So I started just like kind of doing some research and found a few companies that I thought I'd like to dealer bikes for.
Okay.
And I'm like, it'd be really good to have some partners right now. And and everybody I was sending an email to, honestly, would see our stuff and respond right away. They'd be like, hey, you're a perfect fit. This is what we want to do, blah, blah, blah. Some people were very...
So you were handpicking these people.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, oh yeah. It wasn't like every company. It was like three or four. Well, a couple of them wanted me to do contracts. I was like, no, I'm not going to commit to anything. I don't even know what
I'm doing.
What the fuck I have right now. And so I ended up reaching out to a company called Rough Cycles. Rough Cycles is in Germany. They are getting tons of popularity. To me, they have probably the sickest setup in terms of like not just electric bikes, but they started out as a bike company who produced parts, so you can do DIY stuff.
Okay.
And the background is all the old German style, kind of like really early 1900 type bikes, right? The frame styles are really low. They're stretched. They're raked out. They're awesome, and they're German engineered and German made.
Right. And we'll take a tour through the shop and show some of the pieces.
Yeah. So I hooked up with them, met the president, who I'm going to see next week, to pick up some more bikes, and he's out in Ohio. His name is Daniel, and Daniel was the president of Formula One Ferrari. So the way I introduced myself to him is I bought a couple bikes. I said, hey, my brother and I, because I want you to see the type of person I am, Steven, are going to come out and meet you and grab the bikes, and I'll bring a couple of mine and we'll ride. And he was just blown away. I mean, I built a bike, stayed up till 4 a.m., tested it at like 5 a.m., and went out there and we rode it, and we hit it off. So I get a lot of frames from them. I mean, this particular bike here, that stretched out frame is a Rough Cycle frame, and it's great because again, it's like I'm able to just kind of and a lot of the stuff right now. I mean, to be honest with you, the front end was made by a guy who owns Sutter Street Cruisers out in California, and Mark has been awesome and supportive, and so he made that front end for me, and it's really.
Your bikes are so sweet.
Thank you. I'm trying to bridge the gap with motorcycle and electric bike.
Yeah.
There's a big stereotype that, for motorcycle guys that people look goofy on electric bikes, and honestly, they do. You see him riding around all the time, you're like, I want to hit that guy. I just straight up want to hit him. Because, he thinks he's going fast and he's not, and he thinks he's cool, and honestly, he's not.
Yeah.
So what I found is a lot of motorcycle guys were attracted to what we were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, in our store, I would say 50% of our customers pull up in their Harleys.
Yeah, we couldn't chat outside the gas station without
people coming up.
And they're so in awe that it's like they didn't even think they were being like intrusive. They were just fucking. It was pretty cool. I mean,
and you're looking them up and down like, hey, we're trying to fucking talk here.
Right now.
No, you're right. During the Dream Cruise, what a shit show that was.
Can't imagine.
Oh my god. And it's always like 110 degrees. It was so hot.
Yeah,
were you in town?
I was, yeah.
Anyways, during the Dream Cruise, first off, people are like, you're going to be slammed. I'm like, nobody spends money. It's a free event.
Yeah.
You idiot. Nobody's coming like to go spend 20 grand.
No, zero.
They just want to pee and poop in my space, and that's what was happening. So I shut the doors. I mean, luckily I have a corner spot. I have the alley. I had some security come on Saturday, I brought a bunch of bikes out, and then people just, even with signs, they knock them off and sit on the bikes. I'm like, fuck this. Put everything away.
Oh, wow.
Let people window shop. And that's what people, we were inside, and we had a crowd of people just staring through the window.
No doubt.
And then pulling on the door, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been awesome, man. It's a very cool experience. It's really neat to be able to build another company. I'm motivated to do it. I'm at a good age, I think, to still keep trucking.
Sure.
And I was getting.
You seem so passionate about this. It's like
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like my furniture doesn't move. The shit moves.
This shit moves.
And then so, and honestly, it's evolving so quick. I mean, I have 3 motorcycles coming out next year. And a vintage bomber.
How many do you have now? How many brands?
So the brands I carry
styles?
would be Rough Cycles.
Okay.
I carry the Ravel company that I bought my first bike from. I met the owner, and we hit it off. And so I have a, it's not like written in stone, exclusive, being exclusive for both those companies, but they want to be in a gallery type setup. They don't want to be in a mix like the other bike stores, which is hundreds of bikes, and people look at it,
right?
They buy it, they do. They want their bikes to be appreciated,
right?
And then there's a company called Rumble Motors, and Rumble was a start engine company, and I had met them again just through like stuff popping up on my feed. I finally got a hold and met the owner, RJ. Phenomenal guy. We started this Rumble Henry ordeal, and Rumble Henry basically focuses on certain bikes that we do together, and we partner up in 50-50 on, and and so there's that, and then there's my custom bikes, and I'm working towards a production bike, that'll be in a good price range, and so we have a great inventory. I mean, I think I have like 30 bikes in there right now.
At the shop?
Yeah, and I have
really?
about 5 that are because I converted about 2,000 square feet of my box wood shop into a bike shop.
Before you got the other space.
Yes, and so we fabricate, and I got all this new steel equipment, so we're able to make our own frames now, and it's super cool. And I got a great guy who used to work with me when I started Box, now came back and is working as our mechanic and fabricator.
That's cool.
And then at the store, I'm always mocking or building a bike. I at least get it to a rolling chassis. And, I was doing a lot of renders before with a couple designers I was working with. I mean, honestly, I like just building it. And again, with there not being an absolute need to push these out,
so there's no blueprint. You just kind
of going at it. Yeah, and really, a bike will sit on a lift for maybe a month or two before it's the design's done, because I'm changing so much.
Yeah.
And so the big prep for us right now, we actually had a show or a bike in the Las Vegas SEMA show.
Las Vegas what?
So the SEMA show, it's the first I've ever heard of it, is a big hot rod show, like one of the biggest in the world. And so a local hot rod designer, his name is, I keep touching this, is Murray. He owns Murray, I apologize, it's PFAF, I think, Designs.
Okay.
And Murray met us actually during the Dream Cruise. A lot of people love pulling up to the side of my building and taking photos. And
it's art, man.
And the with the big H painted and the art that moves, like you get a lot. I caught people dancing in front of the art that moves. A lot of hippies get out there and do dancing. Yeah, I'm like, go ahead, finish. Okay, get the fuck out. But it's great. It's like actually doing some stuff for the community. And funny enough, the city and I are kind of we're working through the painting on the side of the building. They're not too happy about that, but they've been gracious and haven't really stuck it to me hard yet.
What's wrong? What's the
they don't accept anything being painted in Birmingham, any type of murals, nothing. Now that's changing. And we're advocating for it to happen as long, and I hope they're going to use us as an example. If you do it,
clean.
It's got to be. And so, after the Family Vibe did our stuff, M1 DTW, the company that I started working for, Christian, actually took over our marketing and branding stuff. So
Christian who?
He's the principal at M1 DTW.
Okay,
he's the owner per se, right? And he was a gentleman I worked for when I started my other biz, or in the industry, in the woodworking industry.
Gotcha.
So he's great, and he's the guy who designed the 6 salons, did all their branding. Like he's if you wanna.
Bad dude, huh?
Yeah, yes, he's great. He's a professor at U of M, and we've known each other, and so he's the one who took his time and made sure that stuff was right. And Sina, one of our guys, suggested just some of the spaces we do, the super graphic, which would be the big H, and then the art that moves. And
he had a big win over the weekend versus Ohio State.
Oh yeah,
he's
the crowd
happy about
was,
that for sure.
It was a pretty big crowd.
Yeah,
111,000 people.
Wow.
Did you see photos when they go on the field? You can't. Like,
yeah, it's a sea.
No,
It's
but
a
somehow
sea of
the stands are still packed. Like,
yeah,
where the hell
they
were
come
all
from?
those people? I don't know. Dude. I'm like watching them because you can watch like a time lapse of it. And you're like, nobody moved in the stands.
Right.
Where the fuck did these people come from?
Right.
So
was
yeah,
great.
so we sell some lines and we have our stuff and we're all it's almost become truly a gallery type space where we're not open all the time. We have scattered hours and we try to get there Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 6. That's our goal. Sometimes we're a little bit later. My wife.
Again, it's art, man. It's beautiful.
You know, and getting like people like yourself in there. Any customer that's come through, we're able to take the time, and I really wanted to give people the experience. You know, if they want to ride, if you're there and you know you seem like you're interested, we're gonna take our time to make sure that we fit you in the right machine. So, you know, we're selling bikes and we're building bikes, and we've got the Detroit Autorama coming up in March, and so Murray, the guy from the SEMA show. So we did a bike, an Urban Decay bike. It's on our Instagram page at henryelectric.us, and it sits.
Your Instagram page is
henryelectric.us.
henryelectric.us.
It's at henryelectric.us. Yeah, and I've been running that, and it's honestly been pretty great. I mean, we've got some awesome followers. We're almost getting to past 5,000, which has been great. It's only been a few months, so and I really don't know what I'm doing. I should probably hire somebody for that, but I have fun with it, and. So we built this bike that went on top of the truck he designed, and so it's like an Urban Decay truck, and then there's this sweet cruiser, stretched out bike on top of it.
Nice.
Best part about it, when I posted, I put what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas because, I mean, I'll say it on the show, the valet guy decided to just to pull in the parking garage with a bike strapped on top of a truck and just cut the bike right in half pretty much.
No way.
Yeah, so Murray called me on a Friday. And was like, at 3 a.m., and I'm like, this guy's drunk right now. Why? I mean, like, I'm not going to answer this. Call me twice Saturday. I'm like, oh, he's still partying. This guy's nuts. He's like, dude, you need to call me back. So I call him back. He's like, and he had just met me. He was kind of freaked out. I'm like, hey, man, shit happens. I didn't put him, it had a motor, but there was no electronics. And honestly, it was fine. It was kind of a story to tell. So we were able to salvage the bike. It's not rideable. I mean, the frame did get tweaked. But we had it in our window on display. And so Murray invited us to the Autorama in Detroit, and that's going to be great. He's got he's got 6,000 square feet, and all these hot rods he designed are going to be there, and then we're going to have a spot. So right now I'm actually working on bikes for
that show
for Autorama, and we're working on a really neat thing with this producer out in Atlanta who reached out to me, and he owns this TV station called Accelerate TV. They just launched, and it's really for anything on two wheels, and they want us to be the first electric bike company, and they want to do a show with us.
That's so cool.
So that's always been a dream, and I'm pretty good at fulfilling the dream. So I think that'll happen eventually.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So why don't you take a trip out to the shop and check out?
I would love
bikes.
that. Yeah,
all right, cool.
That'd be great.
Let's head out.
All right.
Hey everyone, we're here outside of Henry Electric with the actual Henry and Pops Kevin.
Hello.
We're gonna run inside and give you a little tour.
Come on in. Henry, after you.
Thanks, sir. So we're inside, and Kevin's gonna take it away from here.
Yeah. So this is our bike store. Henry, come say hello. This is Henry. This is my little man, our only child, the man the inspiration for this whole thing. Henry, I'm going to take it over just and talk about some of the bikes. You okay with that, Dad? All right, you want to stay next to us? All right. So I was talking earlier about some of the bikes that we carry, and so like right behind you, we'll get into ours in a minute. But you see the Rough Cycle bikes. So these are the ones that are made in Germany. Like I said, they're just a class act. It's really neat because the style is what we want, and the bikes are have mid-drive motors. So for like a bike enthusiast, these are phenomenal. They're geared, so you can control your gears. I think there's 8. It's an 8-speed, and the motor is right where the pedals are, and you can get up to about 60 to 80 mile range. And where you're pedaling, the motor's working, so they get up to about 25 miles per hour. So they're a lot of fun.
What does something like that retail for?
So these bikes start at 7,000. This is their latest model. This has the performance motor, which is a little bigger, and it's got the carbon drive, which is the belt drive. So this one is, I think, 8,200.
Nice.
With the lights, and then there's tons of accessories. These guys, this was the bike you saw me on.
Originally,
mine was British Green. I actually sold that one to a UPS guy.
Okay.
He was so excited to buy it. And then when Jeff delivered it, his wife freaked out on him. Or his dad, his wife's dad was like, how much did he pay for this? And Jeff was like, so he was nervous, but like it made his day, man.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So he had one of these, and actually we had a setup where in the back of it, we could put a seat for the kids. So I had Henry always kicking on it, so that's what he loved about it. These are great bikes. These are throttle bikes.
Yeah.
They don't have the any screen, but they have a throttle right there. That's your kind of battery life, and they range, I'd say like 30 to 60 miles. The side here, you want to open that? The batteries on these get you about 60, I'd say about 60 miles. The side of the tank opens up for storage. It's just a beautiful bike. This is a rear drive, so it's got the motor in the back. It's got pedal assist, so if you hit the throttle, let go, and you're pedaling, the motor stays engaged. So you can get a really good workout with it too, but it's like you can pedal all day long. It's gorgeous bikes. I love the look and I love the leather work on them.
Oh, yeah,
and the
beautiful.
cost. I mean, these retail these start at like $4,200. They don't have lights. The lights, depending on what you pick, are a couple $100 extra bucks.
Yeah.
This is new. I have about 5 of these in stock. These are obviously modeled off the Cafe Racers. Light frame, great bike. 2 batteries. The batteries we have in there makes it more of a pedal electric, so you can hit the throttle, it'll get the motor going, and then you have to pedal to keep it going. These start out at about, I think, $3,000, so they're priced.
And these are the 3 colors that
I think we only have, we might have nope, that's these 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the shop we have 2 more, but I think it's a black one and another gray
Gotcha.
one. Right over here, these are some of our custom bikes. So in the window, we have a bike that we're doing for Autorama. This is a rough cycle frame. It's their Tango frame. They actually made the tank for us also, and then we made the side badge, and then we'll make an intricate battery box and kind of control box in the center there. We use a lot of these V tires. They're awesome. They're a little more costly, but they're really super cool looking, and they can handle the speeds that we run these bikes at. This one's set up, pretty old school, pretty aggressive. This will have pedals. It'll have pedal assist, everything that you can imagine a typical e-bike would have. It'll have a headlight, tail light. We are running turn signals, and honestly, it's just a little more wiring that we would want to throw in there. So right now, if people want them, we have USB turn signals that you can buy that work out great. This bike is Henry and I project. So that's Henry's little cruiser right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got some work to do on it, but he helped me mock it up. He helped me get the tires on, the bottom bracket, that Springer front end. It's a little funky. As you can see, there's this big gap, so we got to modify that, cut these down a little bit to make it fit on this frame. But that's kind of what we do. Here's another bike that I designed early on. Come here, Hank. I designed early on. And just, the intention was for it to be all black. I had these tires. I thought they would.
Tires make it, man.
Yeah,
Make
they
it
would.
pop.
Yeah, the
Nice.
orange. There's your orange color, right? Looked really cool. This is a neat bike. I'm gonna switch it on. So this has a key to turn it on. This button right here actually gets your monitor on, which you have a LCD screen, which is super cool. This is set from 1 to 5, 5th being your highest gear, which will give you the most speed. This
What's
bike,
the top out at?
This one I've gotten to like 49, 52.
Wow.
This bike will go. If we brought it outside, it would work. This has a horn. Henry, you want to hit the horn right there, Dad? The green button. Yep. And this has a high beam and low beam. So, I mean, these lights are great. Now, this does have turn signals. The relay isn't in there, but you can see they just stay solid. The relay would make them blink.
Gotcha.
And then everything that, all the battery and all the electronics on this bike are right inside there. These do have an automatic shut off, so after 5 minutes they will shut off. Our bikes come with alarms if you request it, GPS tracking, and also, like you see the swing arm bags that we threw on there, they're a great feature. This was one of my first bikes I bought from Rough Cycles, actually 1 of 2. The other one sold. It was a little buddy, and I'll show you that one back there. This has got the performance line. It is a demo bike, but it still retails at $7,500.
What was the black one with the?
That one is right under 10, so it's like 98.50,
wow.
I think. Yeah,
That's very reasonable.
I think so. And again, our relationships with Rough Cycles and some of these other companies allow us to get our costs down
gotcha.
and still make these in the U.S., you know.
Yeah, makes sense.
This bike right here kind of started out, the name of it is the Ghost Bike. The color is just kind of, the black was going to always be on there, but the green, I was just doing some messing around with powder coating, and we found this color that we love, and we're able to get the satin finish on there, or matted finish, excuse me, which is really nice.
It is.
Yeah.
You want me to hit the horn?
This one is not turned on, the horn. We'll do a horn test for them back there.
All right.
So this bike is great. This one is outfitted with 5,000 watts. It's got the big horn. It's got some air intakes in the front to keep the battery box cool. This one does, I mean, I've gotten up to 60 on this one with ease. High beam, low beam. It needs some, some configuring. The controller is actually inside this side of the tank. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the wiring and all that runs through that tank.
And it's funny is the tanks aren't really tanks. They're not gas tanks.
They're not gas tanks. So either they're just, like with rust cycles, the battery is underneath the tank.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're aesthetic, or we use them to run our wires and
Yeah, that's
harnesses
yeah.
through. So
It works.
they're great. These big bikes. This is my Rumble Motors connection right over here. Yep.
You're good. Just shoot them. We'll talk.
With Rumble Motors, shoot them, we'll talk. Like I said, I met RJ, we connected, and I kind of revamped their bike line. I started with this bike, and this is the Focus. We sell a lot of these, so we have 7 of them going out right now. RJ is great.
Where are they going? What part of the country?
A lot of California. Some
Yeah.
I've got a couple going to Pennsylvania. So kind of all over the place.
That's awesome.
Yeah, great bike, super fast. I mean, this one's 70 easily.
How are most people finding you? Or hearing
Instagram
about
is
you?
really
Yeah?
what's been working
Really?
for us, yeah.
That's great.
We haven't done any marketing besides that. We will next season when we're a little more set up and ready and
Yep.
have some staff.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I like it quiet because it's not a thing where people are walking and saying, "Oh, I want that, I'll take it."
Right.
It's like
right.
it's an expensive buy. Those
Yeah.
bikes are about 9,000. They're going to go up to 12. When they get to the motorcycle, they won't be less than 15, maybe 20.
Why do you call it a motorcycle?
Well, once we take the pedals off, and it's going to have
It's no longer a bike.
It's no longer a bike. Yeah.
Oh.
So it'll have the turn signals in the front, as long as you have all the safety features.
I got you. So that's why you can
Pretty much
sell
ride
it
this.
without a turn signal because it's a bicycle.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Exactly. And really, in terms of speed, every state's different. Michigan. I mean, I sent one of my drag bikes out to California to a customer, and they're very strict over there, but he cruises around that thing
Yeah.
and it goes 50 miles per hour and nobody's bothered him. As long as you're doing the speed limit
Yeah,
and
for
not
sure.
like jumping on the freeway.
And a lot of cops won't be able to tell the difference anyway.
They won't.
They won't.
But
Because it looks like a bike.
well, I've
Looks
been
like a
pulled over
motorcycle.
like 3 or 4 times.
Really?
Oh yeah, for speeding usually. On Lone Pine Road, it's 25, so
yeah.
I'm going 60 on
Cruising
it.
through, yeah.
Yeah.
What of the art? What are you going to show?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Good idea.
What about these behind you?
Well, we'll turn our attention as we're talking. Well, these are some inspiration bikes, so some die-cast, little kind of old school, like again the Board and Track, the Indian Scout, the I think there's a Harley Knucklehead there, and I think a Panhead. So these are pretty cool.
Hey Henry, why don't you hold them up to me?
Hold one up to the camera there, Dad. You saw these, huh?
One hold it still.
Good eye, buddy.
Movable kick.
Yeah, it's got a kickstand. They're super cool.
And
You can ride it.
Yeah.
I love these style bikes. I mean, I'd like to get me one of these as a motorcycle. I just don't know how my customers will feel.
So you have a whole wall of accessories here.
Yeah, so we sell everything. We've got our Henry Electric branded stuff, which would be your clothing and little kind of products. We are coming out with some bike stands you can put your charger in, put in your garage. They're going to be
cool.
fashioned out of some nice wood, right?
What is the charge time?
On most chargers are 3 to 5 amps, so within 4 hours you get about 80%.
That's great.
Yeah, and they're getting better. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're going to have it to where 2 hours you'll have almost a full charge.
there's some mama's coming.
Oh yes, this is the queen of the night.
You gotta flip it around.
Say hi, Lou.
Hello.
There's no sound. You're on camera now. She's gonna yell at me later. These are just too much. So as I was saying earlier, I just get in here and we just bust out bikes with really no intention
Yeah.
of where they're going or no thought behind that. We just know that the more we create, the better we're gonna get at it.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And again, there's people for this stuff. So once we market a little more, and when a bike is complete and I put it on Instagram, usually it sells.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole process. People want to see, and that's why
instant gratification.
well, they want to see us riding them too.
Yeah.
That's like getting really. That's where I'm at right now. That's kind of why I'm stuck. I've been noticing like on Instagram, the pictures are great, but they want to see us like some action shots.
Yeah.
I want to test track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I need to. This is the Rough Cycles. So Rough Cycles does 2 electric bikes. They do the Ruffian, which is that bike over there, and they do the Little Buddy. The Little Buddy is awesome. I have 6 more coming in.
That's this here?
Yep, I sold 6 of these. This one's sold. They're awesome bikes. I mean, you can
What do
take them
these go
anywhere.
for?
These are like they start at 4,200, and depending on the size.
Mm-hmm.
Motor, again, the CX would be the performance sign. They can get up to almost 5.
And what's
Range?
the range mile per hour?
So it's a pedal bike, pedal electric. So you're getting about 20 to 25, and then another 40 to 60 miles. So
Oh, shit.
batteries are
Sweet.
movable. It just pulls right out the back. It's just a gorgeous, awesome machine.
Yeah.
It took them 5 years to develop, and it weighs like 35 pounds.
Oh,
it's
that's
super
it?
light. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you can put it over your shoulders and walk out.
How about this beauty?
This one right here, come here, Hanker. This bike right here.
This is
Yeah, was something I designed probably a few months after we started out. This is our skeleton bike, and you'll see a lot of the woodworking we do, like up here. He's not leaving, is he? Over here we have these. So to make a shape like this out of steel it's a lot of work. It gets very expensive. I use this signboard.
And heavy.
And heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, feel that.
Oh, yeah,
And
nice.
it's all exterior glue, so it's waterproof. I mean, I ride in the snow, or rain or whatever, and so all these bikes are water resistant.
This is where your woodwork skills come into
Yeah, so
come in
it's
handy.
like, a lot of guys when I started this in my company were like, oh man, it's just like, and I'm like, no, there's a connection. And so this is all wood.
Oh, I just noticed that
Yeah.
as soon as you said it.
Yeah, so that's all CNC'd out of wood, and then this is laser cut out of steel. We draw it up, we send it out to various companies. All the wood stuff we do on our CNC machine, a lot of times we'll cut, like right now we got some frame designs that we're cutting out of wood to make sure they're good, and then we'll use that as a template to make our
And you said this is going to the Autorama?
This will be an Autorama, yep.
Okay.
I have a different light going on here. It's not completely mocked up yet, but it's in a good spot to take apart and send to paint. This bike will retail right under 15. This one has some power. It'll get up in the 50 to 55 range.
Nice.
Fun bike to ride. Very comfortable. Here, jump on there.
Dada,
Get on there, Anthony. Watch out, Henry. No, let Anthony get on there, Henry. Oh.
Let me swing my leg because I don't want to hurt you. Oh,
No, I don't want that one. I don't wear those. I wear the snapbacks.
badass.
That's right here. Yeah, that's a sweet bike. And now the handlebars for this one are actually more half moon, so they'll be your hands will be
Up here?
Yeah. I just threw those on because I ran out of bars.
That's cool.
Yeah.
can I ask my question now?
Yeah.
What are these?
Oh, those are little for your bike. Those are your taillights. Those are some vintage taillights.
Are you excited to wrap your bike up? So you
Yeah.
can
He
whip it around?
told me today he wants to ride in the Dream Cruise.
Next
And
year?
then next year. And then behind
Alright.
you, this is going to be a big hit, I think. This is, I'm making a couple of these, but a cafe racer meets kind of hot rod, meets vintage style. It's a lot going on here.
You want to whip
so,
around behind it, Kevin, so you can
Yeah, yeah.
point some things out?
Luisa said my hair looked shitty. Why don't you say anything, Anthony?
I'm not in the hair business.
So this bike's really awesome. Henry, hold on. This one, we'll play the horn for them, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So this one's got some vintage taillights. These come from a Ford, what's it called? What are the Model A trucks? So these are like,
Stop on them.
yeah. These are from the 1930s.
Oh, really?
They're replicas, but
Yeah.
it's still got that vintage look to them. This is running 8 kilowatts, which is 8,000 watts, so a very powerful motor. Should push you at about 80 to 85 miles per hour. It's a heavy frame. It's thick in terms of the bar stock being 1.5 to 1.25 inches, where most of them, as you get to the back end, you can see they're about 1.125 inches. The front end is a rough cycle front end. This is a rough cycle frame. It's the bike is called the Hurricane bike.
How long are these things end to end?
This bike is just under 8 feet. That one's around 7. The two that I had at home that I might go grab one and ride here, that one's they're about 8.5 feet.
Yeah, well.
I love them being stretched out. These are raked out at about 30 degrees, so generally your rake is more like that, almost at 45. the front, the front
Yeah.
angle there. Yeah, honey. This has a Springer front end, which is really cool. This gas tank will have some buttons up here. Be careful, Hank, for your horn, and I think there's a fan possibly for this setup here, and then there'll be an enclosure around here. I think we're gonna do like a metallic blue paint job on this with the black, so it'll be a flat black and like a gloss metallic blue. So it should be
Okay.
really, really sporty, racy.
You said fan? Do they get hot?
No. Sometimes we hit them into the battery boxes. Like, we just kind of have either an air intake. So you see that thing up here. So we'll run these on some of our
This?
bikes. Yep.
Okay.
So
And what's the point of that?
it's just shooting air. So we have 2 of these going on this bike, one on each side. And
Coolest component?
yeah.
Okay.
And although we use some high end shit, so there is a fan in
Cooling
there.
in it? Yeah.
Yeah, these batteries, their battery management system has a fan built into it. But when you're running something that's really powerful, it's really in the summer when it's 90 degrees out.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta. And it's not like it would catch on fire, but it won't perform as well. In the winter, these bikes ride like literally 5 to 10 miles per hour faster.
Almost like a car too, like a performance
Yeah,
vehicle.
yeah, absolutely. So I can let you guys hear the horn. Henry, you want to help me? here?
Henry, we need the horn.
So there'll be 4 of these. There's 2 on that side.
Bring your
There's
thumb.
gonna be 2 over there, but I'll just do a little quick connect for you. I have one right here.
Come on this side, I think. Where's the switch?
Oh, we don't even have it switched. We're just gonna
Wire it up?
Yeah. So, Henry, you touch the red. Anthony, you do the green on the black. Oh, I'll do it. You ready, guys? I'll do it for you guys. Ready, Hank? Hold on, don't get too close. Don't use your finger, buddy. Okay, ready?
Shook you up there.
So that'll have 4 of these going at the same time, so that should
Wow.
be pretty cool. That's a pedal. So yeah, and that's my thing is people are always like, nobody can hear you. Well, most of our bikes come with these, and like this one right here, I'll hit those for you guys. These are some trucker horns. And honestly, I've been in Birmingham and I've had people just pull out in front of me, and I will hold these on until they literally start crying.
Don't jump again, Henry.
I won't now.
All
Hold on,
right.
not yet.
Okay.
All right, ready? We're gonna get, hold on, Daddy.
I'm ready.
Oh, opposite, go that way. Oh, no. You wanna do like this, baby.
Split, yeah.
Sorry, here, hold on, Chad. Dad don't know what he's doing, huh? It's so cool to be able to teach him this stuff,
Oh yeah.
right? I mean, so many of these kids is just iPad. Well,
And
you know,
and a couple days ago, I learned how to do some of the like how to work the battery or whatever.
we'll just do
Oh
one.
yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah, here, touch that wire. Nope, the other one, right here.
No, he had it right.
5, 4.
He had
No,
it
no,
right. You have to. The wire's got to go to the same.
oh yeah, he's right. Anthony, you wanna work here? Here, grab that one. Grab that one,
Let that
Dad.
one go, Henry. Grab that wire.
No, this one.
This one here. Yep.
All right, ready guys?
1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Those are fun too. And twice
No, you
as
didn't
loud,
jump.
so.
You didn't jump that time.
Yeah,
Henry.
these are
Good job.
crazy sounding because they have that old
Yeah.
vintage
That
car
scared
sound,
me.
so.
I wasn't even near it.
Well, it's funny because in the beginning I was using these little bike bells, and I'm like, what am I doing, dude? Like
Oh.
No,
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
that's when. So, yeah, and then back here we have our little design office. I do a lot of my work for both companies on my computer here, and I don't know what's happening, but it seems like we're gonna have to get set up to accept some more parts, and
Yeah.
it's just. But it's a great space. I love the location.
Oh yeah. Location's
Love being
awesome.
in Birmingham, and
Yep.
we'll start doing some stuff next year. We'll have like events on Saturday where people can do test rides and maybe some like lemonade stands and
Yeah.
just kind of bring back the old days through the bikes.
Sure.
Kind of represent that time, play some music out there. So it's really neat having this alley.
You do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that.
So that's where we were on the Dream Cruise, as we blocked it off. And so we had the bikes out there. But by the time, we left for an hour. We came back there. I couldn't even park.
Oh, no kidding.
There are
That's
people with
crazy.
tents here. I had my security come here at 6 a.m. There were tents already up front.
Well, maybe
I'm not a Dream Cruise
next
guy.
year. Yeah. Maybe next year will be different.
Were you going up and down Woodward?
Hell no.
Right, it's too
I haven't
much.
done that in years.
Yeah.
It's too much.
So, yeah, this is Henry Electric, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, and like I said, our hours are, 12 to 6 Tuesday through Saturday, and always by appointment. So if anybody wants to email us, My email is on the on the website, and then they can set up an appointment. And
It'll
come
be
here.
down in the description as well.
Yep, and that's an awesome thing too, because it gives you really a chance. Like if you're interested, you'll come back. You might test ride the bike. You want to know the ins and outs of it and whatnot. So.
All right. Cool.
And then we could also do the one-off bikes for you. In the beginning, we were doing it to where my idea was, hey, Anthony can come in and pick out like the exact frame he wants with him. Well, I did that a couple times and it was a mess.
Yeah.
You give people too many options.
Right, because sometimes one doesn't go with the other and it's not actually functionable.
Or
Functional.
it's not even what I want to build.
Right.
So
you don't want to put your name on their
No.
vision.
So we'll make them. When we do a branded bike, then that's a little different. It'll have their colors, their theme, but
It's okay.
And the DIY wall will be more for that. We'll have a kit, kits up here with frames, handlebars, and you can buy everything you need to build your own bike.
Right.
So we're just getting started. I'm super excited about
That's
this.
awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to sign off now and go check out henryelectric.us on Instagram.
Thank you.